happy to see you here talking about technology. All right, so let's talk about whether you should use third-party software when you are going live. The thing about going live is it's more important that you actually go live or use video more than you have any of the fancy bells and whistles. So if it's intimidating to you or you don't want to use any fancy technology, then don't worry about it. You don't have to do that at all. However, if you are thinking about it or you've seen maybe a different software, not one that we use in the squad, like StreamYard or Ecamm or something like that, and you're not sure if you want to use it or not, this is these are some guidelines, some things that you can think about as you're making that decision. It's really easy to get carried away with technology and all the fun tools that are there because everything looks so cool. The results that you get from using advanced technology, it looks pretty cool. It looks like it would be fun for other people to see, but it's also really easy to get intimidated when you see people who have like really high-tech rigs or doing things that you're not comfortable with, and then to feel pressure like you need to be doing those things as well. It's so important to recognize that everybody has a different audience and that everybody's audience goes on a journey with them, and that the people that you may be looking at who have all the fancy bells and whistles and gizmos, they may have been doing this for 4 or 5 years and may have had different intentions when they started, and they may have worked with different tools and done different things. So don't feel like you're ahead or behind as much as you are making choices that are right for your business at any given point in time, and ignore what everybody else is doing. The thing to keep in mind though is that as long as you are using live or video, it doesn't matter whether you're just going live straight from your phone or straight from your computer without BeLive or StreamLabs. So don't worry about it at all. This is a very, very different way of building a business. When you're using video like this and you're thinking about your business in this way, it's not the way that you have often approached your business. And therefore, we're going to have some different techniques and different tools and different ways of approaching things. And the thing to keep in mind is that when you are making these videos, like we talked about in the training, you're creating a lot of valuable content that's going to create an engine to create money over the course of a long period of time. We're not talking about just creating one fancy video so people can be impressed with the fact that you had a really cool overlay, right? And you can have that, but without the content inside, it doesn't matter how cool what you're doing looks, it's not going to get viewers and it's not going to get people interested or buying. So that's really important to think about as you're trying to decide whether or not to use technology. Now, let's start with why you would not want to use BeLive or StreamLabs. Okay, so those are the two pieces of software that I recommend. We'll talk a little bit about what each of them is for after this, but this is why you may not want to use either one of them. One, you can use Facebook directly from your computer and directly from your phone, so you don't actually need a third-party software to do anything. Facebook has a lot of tools in there that you can utilize, and you can definitely go live straight from the app. I recommend starting that way. I think that it's too easy, and I found this for myself and with many of my clients. It's way too easy to get caught up in the technology of it and really lose sight of the thing that's actually important, which is the content. And so I recommend that when you're first starting out, just forget about the bells and whistles, forget about the overlays, forget about looking cute and pretty. Really just focus on creating the content and then add in all the fun stuff later on, because technology can very easily be used as an excuse not to start. So if you sit down and you're like, I'm going to use BeLive, well, then on your to-do list, it becomes, before I can go live, I need to learn how to use BeLive. So now you've pushed your live off by like a month or two because you got to learn BeLive, which means now you're pushing off the acceleration of results. You're pushing off getting more viewers. You're pushing off your growth process. So you're pushing off a lot of things just because you've chosen to use BeLive versus saying, you know what, I'm just going to use the tech that's available. I'm just going to press the button and go live and see what happens. That will have a much bigger impact immediately than waiting a month to learn BeLive will. Okay. You can just go live straight from your phone. Your phone is fine. Your iPad, anything. If you don't have a desktop or a desktop camera, totally fine. Just press play on your phone and go live. No problem. I don't recommend using these new technologies if you've never gone live before. It's really, you don't know what you don't know. And so you have to go live a few times simply to just understand what it is that you're doing, know where the buttons are, what are some of the tools that you can use. So if you've never gone live before, never used video before, I would not recommend using either of these tools. I would start the way that we all did with our phones, go live a few times, make a few lives on your phone, with just going live without anything extra. Get accustomed to the process first, and then after you feel like, okay, I know what I'm doing, I understand about going live now, I've workshopped this, I'm going to move on into that next step where now I'm going to try working on the bells and whistles. Okay. Now the thing to make sure is that you want to before you use any of these tools, you want to make sure that you have verifiably implemented each of the techniques that we talked about in stage 1, 2, and 3 so far. And I mean verifiably in that you go back and you check, did I do this? Did I do this? Because this only works as icing on the cake for that. It does not work as the cake itself. Okay, so BeLive and StreamLabs, in order for you to actually get value out of them, you need to have verified that verify for yourself that you've actually implemented understanding who your customers are and the other steps in stage 3 to using video, so that you're starting off on the right foot. Now, BeLive and StreamLabs are 2 different pieces of software. So we're going to talk about why you would want to use them, each of those. So why would you want to use them? And then why would you pick one over the other? Let's start with BeLive, because BeLive is the starter software. So if you were somebody who has gone live and you are ready now to take a step into the next level, BeLive is a great option because it is browser based. It's great if you're creative. You want a quick option to customize your live. So I recommend using BeLive if you're just looking for something, like if you're trying to decide between StreamLabs and BeLive. It's very quick to get set up, quick to get going. It doesn't take a lot. You'll be up and running in like 15 minutes. The key, and you want a no fuss option. The key thing here is this, your key indicator where you want to use BeLive over StreamLabs is if you get frustrated when technology doesn't work, right? Like I get so frustrated when technology doesn't work. Like 98% of the time I just lose my shit. BeLive is a really great option for you because it will just work. StreamLabs does not often just work, right? So I used BeLive for 3 or 4 years before I moved into StreamLabs because it took me a while to get to the space where I wasn't immediately frustrated and just like, whenever I ran into a technological problem. Okay, so that's really important because just because you're currently frustrated by technology, it doesn't mean you always will be. So you can always start with BeLive and then move on to StreamLabs later. StreamLabs is great because it gives you a lot more control than BeLive does. So if you've used BeLive and you found that it doesn't give you as much control as you'd like with the placement of things, or because like you can really get granular in terms of where you place things on StreamLabs and customize it intensively. That is something that you'd want to choose StreamLabs for just because BeLive gives you limited options. You will need to learn Canva if you're going to be using StreamLabs because you're going to need it for all of your fun overlays and things like that. The key indicator about whether you would pick StreamLabs over BeLive is if you aren't intimidated by new technology and will work your way through a technological problem, right? Now, I haven't always been that person. There was about 20 years of my life where I worked in like from the time I was like a teenager, 15 or so till I was like 30 or so. I did a lot of tech work. And so I was very, very patient with technology at the time. I would troubleshoot things, no big deal. And then around the time I was 36, I just kind of lost interest. And from the time I was 36 to about 44, or 42, I was just like, oh my God, if technology doesn't work, I'm just going to lose my shit. I'm going to get really, really mad. And now I'm back to the space where it doesn't really bother me as much anymore. I'll just work my way through the problem. It's really important that you be willing to work your way through the problem and not be okay with having challenges and not get frustrated and give up. If you know that about yourself, that you're the sort of person who's like, I'm going to get frustrated and give up, then start with BeLive until you find that BeLive is no longer working for you. That's super important. Don't forget, though, that the squad is your secret weapon, okay? It is your secret weapon as it is in all of these stages. But once again, it is a secret weapon in that I really love to watch you guys learn these things. It is inspiring for people to watch the videos that you create. It's inspiring for them to hear the challenges that you're running into, because the fact that you've run into a challenge means that you've started something, right? And this gives them the opportunity to start something as well, right? So sharing your roadblocks is not a shameful thing. It's an exciting thing because it means that you are making progress and you've found a barrier to progress. And as soon as we get past that barrier, you're going to make more progress, right? So it's inspiring. So please do share. Regardless of whether you use BeLive or StreamLabs, you're going to be doing something that many, many members of the squad are too scared to do. They're just too scared to go live. They're too scared to do video. It's a scary place to be. And by asking questions and sharing your videos and posting things in there, you are leading by example. And that's how we all will grow, right? Because now we're seeing what other people are doing. We're getting inspired. And it seems less scary when other people are doing it with you as well, right? Plus, you can learn from the feedback that you get from people, and we will iteratively increase. I learn from the feedback that other people get from people. It's especially with video, because you learn so much about how people engage with content, the things they like to engage with, the things that they notice. It's a very, very powerful time. The people in this group know how to help you because they are learning the same things you are. and they're learning it in the same way that you are, right? So you know that you guys are all on the same path and the same journey. So if you run into any issues or you're not sure whether you should use BeLive or StreamLabs, go ahead, post in the group and ask, and let's have a conversation about it. And then we'll see what would work best for you.